Bleach is a legendary anime. It spans 366 episodes, including 23 episodes of the Fullbring arc, and as such, it has a plethora of amazing moments. Manga runs for 698 chapters, and this year continuation of anime adaptation is expected. Even though it is action-oriented, this anime doesn't get enough praise about its strong emotional experiences. There are many internet discussions about the best action scenes from Bleach, which is awesome. There really is high-quality action. But in this video, we will focus on emotion, betrayal, love, and tears. This is a list of our favorite top 5 emotional moments in Bleach. Of course, everyone will have their own favorite moments, and it is impossible to list them all. So don't forget to leave a comment with your favorite moment down below. This is one of my favorite animes, and Ichigo is one of my favorite shonens. That being said, the character of Urahara Kisuke is also pretty amazing, but I think he deserves a separate video all about himself. And now, our top 5 emotional moments from Bleach. Let's go! Number 5. Byakuya takes Rukia away. According to the laws of the Soul Society, Rukia is sentenced to death because she allowed Ichigo to use her Ishigami powers. Byakuya and Renji come to take her away. Of course, Ichigo comes to her rescue, not even realizing the power gap between him and the captain and the lieutenant of the 6th Division. After all, he is a shonen. While fighting Renji, Ichigo manages to keep pace with him, but in the moment when it seemed that Ichigo will prevail, Byakuya interferes with his Shanpo and wounds Ichigo and cuts his Zanpakuto in half, while Ichigo is on the ground. Byakuya mentions to Rukia that Ichigo bears an uncanny resemblance to him. In the middle of that, Ichigo grabs a part of his uniform. In that moment, Rukia interferes and kicks Ichigo's hand right off Byakuya, saying how a mere mortal shouldn't even be allowed to touch her precious brother. Quite surprising for the viewers, but she does it in part to save Ichigo from certain death, and in part because of her loyalty to her brother. In our first real emotional moments of Bleach, Rukia is taken away, and while shedding tears, she tells Ichigo not to follow her, and that she will never forgive him if she goes after her. The direction and background music of these scenes is excellent, and the importance of this scene is that it gives us a hint that Bleach will have a real depth and emotions, unlike typical battle shonens. Urahara saves Ichigo from the brink of death and brings him to his shop, where he and his assistant tend to Ichigo's wounds in a bit weird but efficient way. Number 4. Rukia kills Shiba Kaien. Shiba Kaien was deputy captain of the 13th Division. He bears a striking resemblance to Ichigo, and when Byakuya was talking about a person that looks like Ichigo, Byakuya was referring to Shiba. Rukia was in training with him and was very devoted to him because he was a good and honorable man. But misfortune strikes Shiba. When his wife returns from a mission, she suddenly starts murdering other warriors from her division. Realizing that she is possessed by a hollow, he goes after her. Unfortunately, the same hollow that killed his wife overtakes Kaien Shiba's body as well. Captain Ukitake and Rukia are on the scene. Captain orders Rukia to run, and that he will take care of the hollow and his fallen deputy himself. But Kaien Shiba, possessed, goes straight for Rukia, and she, practically in self-defense, stabs her mentor and a friend with a sword and kills him. Before he dies, Shiba regains his human form for a brief moment and thanks Rukia for finishing him off and for letting him rest in peace. In this scene, the director really builds the gravity of the moment and the emotional pain that Rukia feels. Not only did she kill a friend she may have had a crush on, she also had to do it in order to end and his suffering. This scene, with strong and complex emotions, is presented in an amazing way. Unfortunately, it turns out that her troubles with Shiba won't end there. Here we have to talk about a moment that earns an honorable mention on our list. It is about Rukia's fight with the 9th Espada. That Espada actually ate the hollow that possessed Shiba and his wife, and because of that, this Arankar was able to take form of Shiba. After the fight between this Espada and Rukia, which is in itself also filled with complex and conflicted emotions, Acquiabo arrives at the scene, and there he sees Rukia half dead, and the 7th Espada, Zumari, ready to kill her. After a brief exchange between Byakuya and Zumari, the Espada claims he had not fought Rukia, but he was definitely intending on administering the finishing blow. Acquiabo responds to this with the best soka we have ever heard in anime. You're supposed to kill her. Soka. I see. Soka. This moment that we cherish is completely missed by people who watch the dub. So people watch sub, not dub. After that, Acquiabo quickly and efficiently brings the fight to a close. But this honorable mention definitely remains as one of the best, most filled with repressed emotions, and most significant soka we have ever witnessed in anime. 2 syllables that will definitely leave you speechless. Also, a little clarification. The reason we call Acquiabo is because of a scene that is very dear to us. In that scene, Jurišić comes to young Byakuya and has a funny and endearing exchange with him. That scene really has a special place in our hearts, which is why I always refer to Byakuya as Acquiabo. Number 3. Gin's betrayal and death. Ichimaru Gin, former captain of the 3rd Division, who, together with Tozens and Aizen, betrayed Soul Society. But here we are referring to his other betrayal, describing himself as a snake. Gin is a type of man who is capable of dedicating his whole life to revenge. When he was a little boy, he watched Aizen's subordinates torturing and taking spiritual energy from innocent people, including his friend/love interest, Matsumoto. Realizing who is behind this, he swears bloody revenge. He becomes Aizen's right-hand man and works with him for years, earning his trust, spending decades trying to find out Aizen's weakness, in which he succeeds. The weakness of Aizen's Bankai, which is able to hypnotize people, that whoever touches Aizen's sword will be immune to the hypnosis effect. The whole story of Gin is powerful and emotional, which is a nice contrast with his sarcastic demeanor and poker face, which is how he is presented throughout the anime. Near the end of the show, Aizen decides to kill Ichigo's friends in order to lure Ichigo out. Gin responds to this by saying that he will take care of the murders, and then Gin touches Aizen's sword, spontaneously and seemingly without any ill intent, thus making himself immune to Aizen's hypnosis. A second after that, Aizen says a brief word filled with hidden meaning, Gin. And at that moment, Gin strikes Aizen through his clothing. Gin not only spent decades pretending to be an ally of Aizen, he also spent decades hiding what his Zanpakuto and Bankai really are. They are poisonous, which really fits with Gin's image of a snake. Dumbfounded Aizen is stabbed through the heart, and Gin leaves a part of his sword inside it, and takes the Hogyoku cube from him. The idea was that the little piece of the sword continues to poison and destroy Aizen, but in a kind of a cheap twist, Aizen survives Gin's attack and transforms into an even more powerful version of himself. While dying, Gin opens his eyes for the 2nd or 3rd time in his life and dies, as we watch his beautiful sky blue eyes. The idea of betrayal and the whole backstory of Gin is amazingly well realized and quite shocking on the first watch, and is definitely one of our favorite anime moments in general. Number 2. Tozens' betrayal. Kaname Tozen was a captain of the 9th Division. Even though he is blind, he is one of the best fighters among captains. Especially emotional moments are linked to him, because he betrayed not only the Soul Society, but his close friends Hisagi and Komamura as well. His betrayal is rooted in the death of his childhood friend that got murdered. Tozen follows a strict moral code, but the problem is that his morality got a bit twisted due to traumatic experiences of the past. His whole final battle with his former friends is filled with deep emotional moments, especially connected to his sight. Aizen gave him the powers of the Hollow, and with those powers, Tozen finally was able to see. And for the first time in his life, during this battle, he was able to see the sky, the earth, and his friends as well, which he uses to give a snarky comment about how Komamura is even uglier than he was imagining him. It is interesting to note that he gains ability to see only when he transforms into a monster. Through his fight with his former comrades, they debate about the philosophy of justice, good, evil, and betrayal, where Tozen stands his ground and affirms that he would be an absolute evil if he doesn't do everything in his power to avenge his childhood friend, even if Soul Society and the world got destroyed. The most powerful emotional moment is when Komamura and Hisagi defeat Tozen. Komamura and Tozen on the brink of death talk about their friendship and how bloodlust for revenge never brought anything good to anyone. It is truly heartbreaking, especially Komamura's comment that the madness of revenge would mean nothing to him if the price of that revenge was losing his friend Tozen, because in losing his friend he would also lose a part of his soul. Moments before that, Tozen asks to see Hisagi's face for the last time, and then he dies. For characters that really were not the focus for the most of the anime, this kind of development and emotional depth is surprising, and it catches us off guard. After Tozen's death, Komamura swears bloody revenge. Number 1. Ichigo vs. 4th Espada. Number 1 spot on this list belongs to Orihime and her reaction during Ichigo's fight against Ulquiorra, the 4th Espada. In that battle, Ulquiorra seemingly kills Ichigo without much trouble, shooting a Cero Oscuras straight through his chest. Orihime jumps to help Ichigo and to heal him, but Espada won't allow it. Ishida jumps into battle and starts fighting Ulquiorra, even though the Espada is far more powerful than him. He does this in order to buy Orihime some time to heal Ichigo. Orihime reaches Ichigo, and she is stunned and confused, because she, as well as most of the shonen demographics, expected that Ichigo will always win and protect her. Orihime is broken, and she knows not what to do with herself. The director goes to great lengths to show us her internal struggle and her sorrow while she cries over Ichigo's body. She sheds tears and calls out to Ichigo in heart-wrenching scenes, which fits the name of the episode, Orihime's Cry of Sorrow. Luckily, Ichigo's soul, barely conscious deep within him, hears her sad wails, and Ichigo, in order to protect her, transforms himself into a brand new form of a hollow. After that, while battling Ulquiorra, the Espada notes that it is impossible for a human to be so strong, and also that it is impossible for anyone who is not hollow to use Cero. After that, Ulquiorra basically forfeits the battle, realizing he has no reason to live when a mere human is so much more powerful, and he praises Ichigo's strength and his ruthlessness in battle. Whether Ichigo is actually human at that point and how hollow he really is worthy of a more detailed discussion, which we may cover in another separate video. For now, Orihime's Cry of Sorrow and the whole scene with Ichigo resurrecting himself are, at least to us, definitely the most powerful emotional moments in whole of Bleach. Those were our favorite emotional moments from Bleach. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social networks. Check out other videos on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time. Bye bye.